So we're just going to tilt the neck to the side, and to the other side. And in modern dance, we use a lot of torso, so it's always really good to get all parts of the upper body nice and warmed up. That way you won't be limited. We'll look to the right, look to the left, and look to the right, and to the left. And then we're going to go ahead and go down on a diagonal. And I feel this particularly down even down to my back a little bit sometimes if I'm tight. And just we'll do each side twice. So we'll go ahead and stretch one more time. And again, I think I said this last week, I tend to stretch for a very short amount of time. But if you're tight and you feel good in that stretch, feel free to linger there. I kind of move through things a little quickly, I think. And then we'll just go down, we'll just do a head circle all the way around, get all those places. Because it's kind of damp and cold today. And then we'll reverse. Aren't you glad you're doing this remotely and you don't have to go out in the rain? I really am. And I'm going to go a little bit forward. And I'm going to show you guys this doorway stretch, which is really great for stretching out the pecs. What often happens to us as we age is our pecs get tight and we're on the computer and we slowly get that hunchback, which actually a few years back I really had that. And my PT showed me if I could stretch out my pecs and then squeeze the shoulder blades, and we'll just do that for a minute. Just squeezing, I'm trying to bring my shoulder blades together. And it's really, I'm not really doing anything in the arm muscles. I'm just squeezing the shoulder blades together and releasing, and squeezing and releasing. If we keep those muscles strong and we keep our pecs stretched out, we have the strength to keep us up in a nice, good posture, and we're not crunched down. So it keeps that hump in the back from forming, which a lot of us, I thought it was hereditary because my mom had it, and it turned out that there was something I could do about it, and I was so excited. So I'm going to show you what my PT taught me to do, because I think this is really important to know. So what you do is you go in the doorway, and you go in the doorway and you do a kind of goalpost position like this. And as we do this, I'm lunging through my doorway. I don't know if you can see I'm doing that behind here with those goalposts, and I'm squeezing the shoulder blades together. And that's stretching out my pecs and strengthening my back at the same time. And then the one I really love is stepping through the doorway, and I'm squeezing the shoulder blades and stretching out the pecs at the same time. And that's really good because it's strengthening and it's helping my posture. So if you have a doorway in your house, which I think everybody does, go try that, because believe me, you're going to be really glad your posture is something you can do every day. Now I do this every single day. Cool. I hope that was a good stretch. And then go ahead and bring the hands behind now and just do it one more time. And again, I'm squeezing the shoulder blades as I stretch. And that somehow allows the pecs to release better, I think, too. So that can feel really good. And just go ahead and move your arms around, kind of feel, are there any places that are kind of tight? Anything? I feel it kind of down here in the back. Also, I feel it a little bit, I'm going to do this wrist stretch, which is great if you've been typing on the computer, which I don't know how we could get out of typing on the computer these days. It's kind of hard to avoid it. And stretching here. And I'm just basically stretching my wrist back like that. And then we'll go ahead and just do a little stretch this way. And this way. And again, if you feel tight and you want to stick with the stretch a little longer, feel free to do that because it's good for you. Your body's telling you what you need. Always listen to your body. Everybody's a little different. We're all tight in different places, so listen to what that's telling you. A stretch should feel really good. It's a little tightness and a little tug on it, but it shouldn't hurt. If the stretch is ever painful, just, I would say back off a little bit on that. Shouldn't be painful. And we're just gonna bring our legs out in front of us, and let's just flex and point. And just kind of get that Achilles a little bit warmed up. As you can see, I have my lovely leg warmers. It's still leg warmer season. I keep thinking it's gonna be warm, and then it gets cold again. Just flex and point. And now we're going to do a stretch where you reach across the opposite side. And I pretty much feel this in my lower leg and my upper leg both. But I'm very tight this leg. I have good flexibility in my hip sockets, but not so much straight ahead. I've been stretching more in recent years and gained quite a bit of flexibility, even in my 50s. So, this time you can do what we did, you can just repeat that, or you can lift the leg, and it's the same thing, just with the leg high. I like this one because it gets my peroneals really good. If I swivel the foot in a little bit, I can get that peroneal, or if it's more the back of the calf you need, then keep the foot straight. My peroneals get very, very, very tight. So I need to do that a lot. And go ahead and reach here. You can stay there, or you can lift the leg. I'm going to sickle in to get that peroneal. Welcome, whoever just beeped in.
Hi, it's Braden here.
Hi there.
Hi. I had trouble with my computer tonight. Sorry about that. But I'm ready now.
Awesome. Go ahead and mute yourself so you can turn on any music you want. Because I won't play music. I'll talk, and then you can have your music in the background.
Okay.
And then go ahead and reach and stretch both legs. And then we're going to go ahead and get up on our feet. I'll tilt the screen forward. And we're just going to do a little bend over stretch. This is in parallel second position. Again, I'm going to turn my toes in to get the outer muscles, but if you want to stay in parallel and that works for you, that's good too. Either one is good, whatever feels right to you. I want to make sure we do that. I'm just going to go ahead and press against the wall. You can do this against the chair, whatever makes sense to you, whatever you have handy. A beam in the middle of the room, if that's what you have, works. And then when you're ready, go ahead and switch. And I usually exhale on the stretch and inhale on the transition between stretches. And then this one is really good also for the peroneals. You step over the bridge of the foot and you press the heel down. Don't worry if you can't see that one. You can go ahead and do the other stretch again. This one's just kind of hard to see, but it's good for if you have super tight peroneals like me, it'll really be a good one to try. And we can do this arm stretch again here. Always good. And then the psoas stretch, what we're going to do is lunge forward on one leg. Leave one leg straight behind you. That leg, take this arm and reach away from the straight leg. And that's stretching the psoas. The psoas is a really big, strong muscle that helps you lift your leg. And when we sit in the chair, we're contracting it a lot. And I'll do this from the side view so you can see the other point of view, and I'm doing the other leg. So this leg, it helps us lift the leg like that. And we have it contracted when we're sitting. So if we spend a lot of time at our desk, then that muscle can get really, really tight. And it's interesting because the way it plays out is you'll have lower back pain. And I had lower back pain for years and I didn't know that my psoas was tight. What happens when the psoas gets tight, let's see if I can show this. What it will do is it will rock the pelvis back like this because this is contracting in the front. And then you'll feel it here because it also puts that back muscle in a contracted place. So that's why it's important to stretch the psoas, especially if you're sitting a lot. So that's a good one. So I think what we might do is do a little stretch on the floor before we stand up and do our pliés. I think we might have done this last time. Let me see if I can get in the right spot. Getting better with the Zoom. So we're going to go ahead and sit in that position we call stationary rest. Just go ahead and cross your arms over each other like this. And this is supposed to be with the feet up here. It's supposed to be the most relaxing position for your lower back. And it allows you to feel that belly button, pulling your belly button to your spine connection, which is really good for maintaining the abdominal muscles and protecting your back. So that's really important. So we're going to bring our hands to the side for balance. And we're just going to press the heel straight. I'm just keeping the other leg bent still. And I'm going to lift the leg 3 times. I'm doing it almost like a backward bicycle. I'm bringing it back in toward my body and then pressing the heel out. And then from here, I'm just going to grab the knee and circle my ankle. Get a little bit of loosening up happening. And then I'm going to bend and straighten through the toes 3 times. And on the 4th time, I'm going to straighten both legs with a flexed foot. And try to keep the leg straight. If you bend it, you won't get the same stretch. You won't get the same effect. But if your leg is far away and you need like a t-shirt or a towel, go ahead and grab that to bring the leg close to you and stretch. And this is just a basic hamstring stretch. And we're going to do a couple of positions here. We're going to send it across the body and get the IT band. And always exhale on the stretch. We're going to open it out and get the inner thigh a little bit, trying to keep that opposite hip on the floor. And then just bring it back in and bend both legs. And just develope, which is ballet, and turn it out and send it across. And now I'm just going to stretch that glute under this leg. Just by very, very gently bringing that leg in, give it just a little stretch, a quick little stretch. And I'm going to do all that again, but I'll switch to a different angle maybe so that you can see it from a different perspective. So go ahead and release that. We'll repeat it on the other leg, so we get both legs. And I'm going to start at this angle so you can see that downstage leg. And press and come in like the backwards bicycle. And come in. And grab the knee and circle the ankle. And bend and straighten 3 times. And again, I'm trying to think belly button to spine so that my lower back is flat on the floor. And we'll straighten both legs. And then we'll just go ahead and stretch. You can grab behind the thigh or you can grab the upper leg, depending on where your flexibility brings you. Or if your leg is further out and you don't want to have to use your psoas to hold the leg up, you can grab like a stretch band or something and grab it by the feet, under the toes. And then we'll go ahead and get the IT band. Sometimes when we're in that position we were just in, you can feel a little the leg moving a little. That's totally normal. Don't be alarmed by that if that happens to you. We're stretching out here. If you're not used to stretching, it's so good for you to stretch out the muscles before we start to use them. And let me show you from this angle what I'm doing. So I'm trying to keep this hip down. And I'm using this to kind of counterbalance, help keep that hip down. And bring it back in. I'm just going to bend the leg once, and then I'm going to straighten again, and I'm going to go into that glute stretch. It's the rotators that we use for our turnout. Get that a little stretched out. Do this very gently. And then I'm just going to roll to the side. I can't think of a more graceful way to get out of this, so just go ahead and sit right up. That's the best I can come up with. And we'll just go ahead and do our easy ab exercise. Just do a little bit of a roll down. So knees bent, reaching the hands forward as a sort of counterbalance. Just very, very gently roll down. And this is much easier, I think, than sit-ups when you're starting to do stuff. So I think you'll like it a little bit better. Just go as slow as you can. And you can do that over and over, repeating it. I like to do a little something in between, just a little leg swing. And you can roll onto your belly. And I'm just going to face this way. Do a little cobra coming up. And then from the cobra, you can come into a sitting position and repeat and roll down. And you could do that a few times. I think because the class is so short, we're gonna skip there and go straight to our plies. So come on up onto your feet. Let's do a little stretch to the side or down in front. And just bring the weight, see if you can bring the weight more onto your toes, so you could lift the heels if you wanted to. And just walk a little bit forward. You should really feel it. I feel it very much in the calf muscles. And just go ahead and roll up on your own time when you feel ready. So we have 3 positions in modern dance that we use mostly. It's parallel, and that's where my feet are directly facing, my toes are directly facing front. If you rock back into your heels and just rotate whatever feels natural, wherever you naturally would land, into first position, bring your heels together. And that's our first position. So it doesn't have to be like the ballerinas. It's probably, for me, after 30 years of dancing, my feet are making a right degree angle. That's about normal for me. And then you just take that and take a big step and widen it. And this is our second position. So the important thing to think about as we do our plies is to make sure we're tracking our knees right over our toes so that your knee should hit kind of right in the center of your foot. You don't want to be sticking the butt out, but allow the pelvis to drop down underneath you as you bend your knees. So think about that, especially in second position turned out. Again, you know, such a pretty position right here. You really want to go for more of a dropping the pelvis underneath you. It's better for your joints to align your ribs over your pelvis and your shoulders over the pelvis and ribs. So that's just kind of the general alignment we're going for. You want to use your abdominal muscles and feel that belly button to spine, feeling we felt on the floor. And so from here, we're just going to take our 2 fingers together and stretch up and release the hands. And then we're going to do a slight, just the upper back curve. Just the upper back. So not even getting into the lower body of the pelvis yet. And just a gentle demi-plie and come up. And as I was plieing, I felt it in my knee. So what I'm going to do right now is just take a little break and stretch my quad. My knee reminded me we forgot to stretch our quad. And if I don't do that before I do plies, I feel it in the front of my knee. So I'm just going to do a quick quad stretch. And if you want to get a little extra mileage out of this stretch, contract your glute muscle and you'll feel an even better quad stretch. So I'm just going to make sure I hit that before I start bending the knees so much. And I know other folks have mentioned that they have issues with the knees. So let's go ahead and make sure we get those quads stretched out. Sorry, I forgot that, but important to do that. All right, so now we're in demi-plie. We've done our curving just the upper body, plie. Oh, that feels so much better. And now I'm going to try to grow nice and tall from the abdominals up through the whole torso. And I'm just going to go to the side. And I use the image of the water coming out of a fountain, the way the water shoots straight up and it goes up and over. That's what you want to aim for. So you don't want to crunch down, but go up and over when you stretch to the side. And I feel that a little bit on this side, and I feel it a little bit in the back too. Come back up to vertical, and now we're just going to do, we call it demi-plie when we bend our knees and we keep our heels on the floor. So you're going to have your whole foot in contact with the floor as you do this. We're going to plie and open the arms. One more time, plie, bring them up into what we call fifth position. And then we're just going to do an upper back arch. And then come back up to fifth position. And we're just going to rise slightly on the toes, just a tiny little releve. And then we're going to do that in first position. So rock back into the heels, find that comfortable turned out position. We want to turn out from the rotators at the top of our leg, not from the knees. If you feel this in the knees, back off a little bit and narrow your position a little more. We're going to bring the hands together and stretch up and over and release, curving just the upper body, demi-plie. Come up, this time we'll go the other way first, and side stretch, again, up and over, like the water fountain, and up and over. So you're doing a lengthened side stretch. And then coming back to center, and plie, open the arms, and plie, straighten the legs, and arch. And this is just an upper back arch, so you shouldn't feel it or take that into the lower back just yet. Let me show that from the side. So I'm really just doing from here up. And then from here, just an easy rise onto the toes. And then we'll do one more time, this time in second position, so we just step to that wider stance. And then we'll go up and release, curving forward, demi-plie, coming up to straight legs, nice tall spine, feel that energy going up to go over. And we'll go to the other side. And then center, and plie, and open, and plie, straighten the legs, and arch. And use your abdominals as you come back up, and just an easy rise up. And finish with a plie. So basically, this is just a little way to warm up the Achilles tendon. You're gonna step from through the heel and go up to a little rise, and then come down and rock back. Then do another little rise up and rock back. And step, rise, and rock back. And a few more times just to get that nice and warmed up. There. So that rocking back stretches the muscles, releve works the Achilles, and just so we can kind of get traveling on the floor. I know people have different amounts of space in their house, so we won't take, you can take smaller steps or bigger steps depending on what fits your space. So I think we did this last time. You bring the arm behind, and you're going to come up, and again, it's just that upper back curved forward. You're not really bending all the way over. It's just the upper back, come to straight. And then we're going to do a nice little side stretch. And now we want to work with the rib cage and go to the side as we go out. Do you remember the old typewriters? Taking the carriage and you're moving it over as you reach that arm out. And then from there, we finish with a curve. Now, this is where we take the first stretch was just up and over, just a little bit. This one, we actually bring the whole body into a curved position. And then we come back to straight. And then this arm we just were using, we start the whole thing over on the other side. So we use the other arm, forward, side, through the ribs, reach, and then we finish. Now this time around, we're gonna add some traveling steps. So we're gonna go up and over, and curve forward, and side, through the ribs. Now this time, we're gonna lift the opposite, so the arm that we're reaching toward, that's the leg we stay on. And we're just simply gonna bend the knees and cross in front, and then finish those 4 movements. And then we'll just do the same thing going back the other way. We'll step back so you can see. Curving forward, now we're on the second side. And reach side, reach through, bend that standing leg, step in front, and finish. So that's, we'll do that, let's do that one more time. So you're crossing in front. And then next week we'll make it into a 3-step turn. So we'll go ahead and just keep adding a little bit of difficulty each week. And curving forward and side, reach through, step in front, and finish with the C curve. Let's go ahead and start our first dance phrase. So using that rib concept. So that isolation, just go ahead and see if you can isolate the ribs over the pelvis. If you can do that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to reach side and reach side, and reach side, and reach side. This time, instead of staying on that leg, we're going to go ahead and step in a semicircle. I'm going to tilt the thing down so you can see what my feet are doing. So from here, step side, front, front, back, back. That's the first step. Go ahead and do that one more time. So we're going to reach with the first arm, reach with the second arm. Try not to say left and right, because I know some of you are near right. So the direction we're going to step is the direction, instead of going to that first arm again, we're going to step. And step together. We'll do those feet one more time. So we've gone right, left, go step right, or depending on if you're mirroring me, then you can go left, and we're going to step together like that. We'll do that one more time from the beginning, and then we'll just add on. We're going to actually step, when we step together, we're going to step to the side, and we're going to do a little, as we step to the side, we're going to do a little wrap position like this, but I'm going to be facing the side. So let's go from the beginning. And side, 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 and step. Now this time I'm going to step back and wrap the arms and step together. So let's do those walking steps one more time. We've gone right, left, side, front, front, back, back, step together, like that. And we're twisted to the side, and all we're going to do is untwist and kick at the same time. So just let everything is tight and twisted, and then just let it all unwrap and kick. Let's go that far again. And side, 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 side. I stay with my knees bent as I walk. Step together, step, twist, kick. So far, so good? Questions, anybody? Okay, let's do that one more time, and then we'll just add a little bit on. Reach, 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 and side, front, front, back, back, step together, kick, Now from here, I'm going to activate this arm and turn the body and go side like this. It's going to be a whole side, around, up and over movement. So let's just do that with the arms. So we're here, this arm is up, I tilt side, I go forward, side, and around, like that. Let's go from the very beginning and include that little circular movement. And reach, 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 side, front, front, side, back, step together, kick, arm, side, front, side, reach all the way around, and we're gonna go, as this arm comes down, we're gonna plie the knees, because we're gonna do a little half turn there. So let's go that far one more time. Reach, 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 side, front, front, back, back, and twist, kick, arm, side, front, side, up and over, plie. And now this arm that I was just using here, we're basically going to turn towards that arm. We're going to do a little half turn. I'm going to plie. Let me show you my feet. I'm actually turning on my heel, but you can turn on the ball of your foot. Do whichever feels right to you. Here, half turn. So we're going to turn towards that arm here, half turn. And then I'm going to reach the arms towards the front, and it's almost like somebody got a hold of my right arm, or whichever that arm you're using, and turn me toward the front. So use that as an impetus. I'm going to tilt this up a little so you can see my body. All right, here we go. Side, 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 step, side, front, front, step together and twist, kick, here, side, around, plie, half turn. And from here, there's a weird thing on the floor there. Reaching back, I'm gonna turn back to the front. So when you've done your side, 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 you walk around, you twisted together and we're here. Now I'm in parallel position with my parallel first with my feet. My body's vertical and straight. I'm just gonna untwist the arms like this. Let me show that from a different angle. So here we're twisted, untwisted. So we're twisting and untwisting. And then from here, all I do is I put the foot down and I switch. So we're kicked. This leg never really hits full on parallel. I would say that from here, as I kick, I'm facing diagonally, which then makes it easy for me to step, and that arm is already up. So there's not really, if you do less, instead of worrying about what to do, I think that'll be easier. So you're twisted, you're here, and I just step to here. Let me go over which direction. So it's tricky on Zoom because you can either be mirroring me and doing the same arm I'm doing, or you're flipping it around. So I don't want to use right and left because I know people are doing probably different sides of the body. So think of it as the first arm is the first one we move at the beginning of the phrase. The first arm is the one that goes up to go all the way around. So we have some momentum with that first arm. We plie, and now I'm going to turn towards that shoulder. So from there, I'm going to turn in the direction of that shoulder of the first arm. I'll call it the first arm. And then once we're back to, you've got both shoulders to the back, I'm going to reach with that first arm. I'm going to reach ahead of where I'm going and almost feel like something pushed and brought your body to do a half turn into that arm. So we've gone around, plie. I'm turning toward that first arm. Then that first arm reaches back, and I turn into it like that. So my head's cut off, but I want you to see the feet, so that's why I'm doing it that way. Let's go from the very beginning, do the whole thing up to that point, and then we'll add a little bit on the end. And reach, and reach, and reach, and reach. Side, front, front. Step together and twist. Untwist and kick. And then bring it up here. I'll get back a little bit. And then side, around, and over. Plie, half turn, reach, complete the turn. From here, we're just going to do a step called the grapevine. It's kind of like what we did at the beginning in that exercise when we crossed in front. You're just going to step side, front, side, together. And that is going in the direction of the second arm. So this arm that's been so active, this first arm, now we're going to walk away from it. Cross in front, step together. Let's go ahead and add that. I'm going to tilt it up so you can see my arms a little bit better. I don't need as much floor space as I thought I did. But here we go. So let's go from the half turns. Reaching back, half turn. Reach back, half turn. Now we're facing front. We're going to step side, front, side, together. And I'm actually going to step together on a slight diagonal, slight angle. And plie and bring the arms back, almost like I was paddling a canoe, but I'm just going to stop right there. So if you were paddling a canoe and doing that, you'd stop right here. And from there, you can bring the arms up to here because we're going to do a little turn. But go up to that point. So we're reaching, 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 side in front. Line, step, and twist, and kick, step together, around, over, plie, half turn, and reach, and half turn. With me so far, everybody facing front? Okay, now we're going to do our side step. Step side, cross in front, and step together. Okay. We'll do it maybe one more time and then we'll stop and do some stretches. Here we go. And reach, and reach, and reach, and reach. I'm bending my knees as I walk around and step together and kick and around, over, plie, half turn. And half turn, and side, in front, step together. And next week, we're just going to add a little turn there to get us, a little turn and a quarter to get us to the front, just to give you a little preview. But the idea is not to get in that position, but try and either be here or, depending on the next move, in a curve with the pelvis drop. So don't let your pelvis stick out yet. And we'll go ahead and do this whole sequence, which will be sort of our closing thing. Start with a nice quad stretch in case we forgot earlier. We'll do our quad. We're going to try and keep our knees close together. You can use the arm for balance. And I'm going to go into a lunge. And this is where we get another nice psoas stretch here. And remember to stretch away from the leg that's extended behind you. So you want to stretch toward that lunge in the front. And then from here, we're going to go down to the floor. And we've got one leg crossed in front of the other. And we're going to do a nice tall spine and do a little twist. As lengthened as you can. And then we're going to twist the other way. And then we'll reach to the diagonal. Go ahead and flex the feet and we'll reach the toes. Remember to exhale on the stretch. And go ahead and reach across. And reach across the other way. Again, you can do this on your own time, according to what feels tight. You want to stretch a little longer if it feels tight. Let's go ahead and go to second position. And I'm going to point my toes this time and reach over to the side. And again, I want to feel a nice length to the ceiling and reach over. Really lengthen it out. And then lastly, we're going to do that stretch you did at the beginning, going down onto your back, cross the leg over, and then bring this leg in. And exhale as you do that. And then, because there's no really easy way to get out of this, I just roll to the side. We'll do something similar to that, slightly different stretches. Take the other leg and we'll stretch the other quad. And lunge back. And we'll get the psoas, again, stretching toward that lunged leg. Lunge is when you bend and put your weight on the front of the front leg. And we'll go ahead, and I just take that leg that was behind and put it underneath, allowing that leg that was bent forward to be on top. And nice tall stretch, twist, and twist. And let's go ahead and put the soles of our feet together. And just go ahead and you can do any, you can have the knees up high, you can have the knees to the floor, you can go forward. Any place that feels right to you, that feels like a stretch but isn't too much. This is where I'm really flexible, so I actually have to go to the floor to feel a stretch. So do whatever makes sense. If your knees are up here, that's totally fine. And you can go ahead and reach. If you're down here with me, you can reach forward a little bit. And let's go ahead and go to the side. Go to the side. And we'll go forward one more time. Reach for the toes. Boy, this feels good after a long day. And you can reach across, or you can join me up here, depending on what feels comfortable. I'm getting those peroneals again. Go ahead and reach across, or with the leg. And we'll do one more glute stretch so that we get both sides. Rolling down, cross the leg over, whichever leg you didn't stretch. And I'm gonna say no with my head, just loosen my neck up because my head is on the floor. I can just move my neck freely. And go ahead and release it. And come on up to sitting. And we'll just all finish together. Just bring the arms up and down Thank you so much, everybody. Good work today. It looked great. We did our first phrase.